Hi friends, so now we are going to discuss about image segmentation. That is one of the very important topic in digital image processing, right? These are all the different contents that we are going to cover. So first is about segmentation. So next related to that of thresholding, and then edge based segmentation, region merging, watershed segmentation, matching, and region identification and chain codes. So what are the different types of strategies that these segmentation techniques are being followed? So all these things we are going to cover here, friends. So first we will go for this segmentation, right? So first we are going to discuss about what is a segmentation and what is its need. Generally, segmentation is used in many areas, right? In data mining, in machine learning, and different types of important concepts. We are implementing these segmentations in order to ascertain particular data in an accurate way. Similarly, in an image also, we are going to use the segmentation process where we are going to find out the exact location of the data or the exact location of the image, which helps to find the clearance of the occurrence of that image. So for that, we are using one of the technique which is called as segmentation. It is one of the important steps. Okay, it is leading to the analysis of processed image data. That is, we are going to process the image and we are going to get the exact data what we need in the whole sum of the images, right? So that is called segmentation. That is, we are dividing the image into different parts based on the parts having strong correlation or having strong relation. There are different types of segmentations that we are following, right? So complete segmentation, partial segmentation, and simple segmentation methods, right? So in complete segmentation, we are using a set of disjoint regions uniquely corresponding with the objects in an input image. Okay, the cooperation with higher processing levels which use specific knowledge of the problem domain is needed, right? So in the complete segmentation, we are going to take all the disjoint regions uniquely. That is, we are going to find out those regions which are not having any type of connections, and we are going to combine it as a separate parts of an image, right? So doing this, it helps us to find or do high processing levels in order to get or ascertain a specific knowledge of an image, right? Next is partial segmentation. Okay, so what is called partial segmentation? So here we are not going to take the whole parts, that is, whole regions are not being partitioned. Here we are going to take only the specific region of an image, and that we are going to do the partition. So that is being written over here. The regions do not correspond directly with the image objects. Okay, the image is divided into separate regions that are homogeneous with respect to that of brightness, color, reflectivity, texture, and so on. That is, based on these properties, we are going to segregate the image. But in complete segmentation, we are not going to do by based on these properties. Okay, so we are going to see all the regions and we are going to segment it based on the relation. Here we are going to divide based on these properties that is being listed over here. So what is the use of simple segmentation? The contrasted objects on a uniform background. That is, we are going to use a simple segmentation where we are going to divide based on the contrast, based on the blurred image. That is, we are going to divide based on the properties of blur or based on the properties of contrast. None of the properties are being considered. Okay, can you understand? So this is called as simple segmentation. So some of the examples where we are using the simple segmentation is assembly tasks, blood cell segmentation, and printed characters. Okay, so now we are going to discuss all these things in a detailed manner. Okay, so totally correct and complete segmentation of complex scenes usually cannot be achieved in this processing phase. A reasonable aim is to use a partial segmentation as an input to the higher level processing. So meaning is, among these three types of segmentation, that is complete, partial, and simple segmentation, we feel that the partial segmentation is having more accuracy or effectiveness when compared to that of complete and simple segmentation, because if we use simple segmentation, we are going to divide the parts based on brightness or based on dullness. But in complete segmentation, here we are considering all the regions. Okay, because of this, the processing time may be becoming very slow. These are also some of the reasons where we are neglecting this complete segmentation. right? In partial segmentation, we are going to divide based on these properties which are very needed for an image classification, right? So, the main thing what I am just trying to tell is, instead of complete segmentation and simple segmentation, more popularly used segmentation method is partial segmentation, friends. Some of the segmentation problems that we are going to follow is image data ambiguity and information noise. So, while implementing these segmentations, there are chances for insufficient size of image data or noises that may be present in the image data while making the segmentation, which leads this division process as an unclear one or as unexpected one. So, we must have to avoid these ambiguity and information noise problems so that our segmentation result will be in a proper way. So, some of the methods which is used for avoiding those information ambiguity and noise problems are global approaches, example using histogram, edge based segmentation and region based segmentation. So, these are all some of the segmentation methods that we are going to follow. So, now we will go for one of the first technique that we are going to discuss, right. So, it is thresholding. You might have a clear idea what is called as a thresholding. So, see in this image, okay. So, in this image if you see, there are a grayscale image. So, it is a grayscale image. So, it has a combination of contrastness as well as brightness and darkness, right. So, we are going to segregate the images by using a segmentation method using thresholding. How this thresholding is going to work in segmentation is, we are going to divide the images into most blurred side and most brightness side by fixing a common value. Okay, by fixing a limitation value, we can easily divide an image into white or black images. Okay, so for that purpose we use this thresholding. So, thresholding is nothing but we can also tell that it is a limitation value that we are going to fix that helps us to divide the image into blur and brightness. Okay, so it is a simplest segmentation process, friends, right? Gray level thresholding, we call it as a gray level thresholding. Okay, so many objects or image regions are characterized by using this part, constant reflectivity or light absorption of that surface. So, we are using the categorization of dark or white by using a technical term called as constant reflectivity and light absorption of the surface. How the light is being fallen on the image, and based on that the image is being categorized. So, we are going to discuss about some of the different thresholding algorithms which is used to perform these segmentation. So, first one we are going to discuss about basic thresholding. We are going to search all the pixels f of I, j of the image f. Okay. An image element g of I, j of the segmented image is an object pixel. Okay, if its value is greater than or equal to the threshold value. That is, we are taking an image and we are going to select the pixel values. Okay, all the pixels that are present in an image. Okay, and we are going to separate those pixel values from the normal pixel values. How we are going to separate it is, that pixel values should be greater than or equal to t. What is this t? So, t is a threshold condition. Okay, so we are going to fix one value. So, those pixel values which are greater than that t value are all taken into one direction or one position, and all those pixel values which are lesser than threshold value are placed in another one position. So, based on this we are segregating or separating as one part of image as dark and the another part of image as white. So, this is called as a basic thresholding process. The correct threshold selection is crucial for successful threshold segmentation, right. So, we must have to select a threshold value in such a case that the proper partition of black and white images are being done. Okay. The selection can be interactive or can be the result of some threshold reduction method. Okay, it can be an interactive one, or we are going to fix a constant threshold value, right. We successfully single global threshold is successful only under very unusual circumstances like gray level variations due to non-uniform lighting or device parameters. So, these threshold fixing value may go wrong, okay, it may go wrong when there are a constant changes or variations in grayscale values. Grayscale values are being fixed in an image. The threshold value what we are fixing will directly provide the image into two parts. Okay, suppose if the image values are going on having a lot of changes then and there, the threshold value will never help us in partitioning the image into bright and dark frames. So, now we will see about thresholding algorithm. Okay, another method is variable thresholding. So, in the first method we selected a t value. So, based on the t value we are dividing the images into dark and white. The pixel values which are greater than t are placed in one position and the pixel values which are lesser than t are placed in another one position. Next is variable thresholding. First point is the image f is divided into sub images. Okay, so those sub images are we refer as FC. Next is a threshold is determined. Okay, independently in each sub image, that is we are finding the t value from each sub images that we divided. If the threshold value cannot be determined in the sub image, right, it can be interpolated from the thresholds determined in the neighboring images. Suppose in the sub images if we cannot able to find one threshold value, right, we can join interpolation is nothing but we can join with other sub images and we can derive one threshold value. Each sub image is then processed with respect to its local threshold value. Then we are processing each images based on the threshold value that we have selected. So, this type of process is called as variable thresholding. Next is band thresholding. Okay, segment an image into regions of pixels with gray levels. Okay, we are segmenting an image into pixels with gray levels from a set D and into the background otherwise. Okay, we are segmenting an image into gray levels from the set D. From the set of pixels available, that is in gray color, we are segmenting the images and then what we are doing is we are segregating based on the threshold value. Otherwise, we are taking the background image as a common one. Okay. So, next is band. Important point is band thresholding can also serve as border reduction, right. So, band thresholding is also be used for border reduction. Border is nothing but the edges of the images can be easily determined by using this band thresholding. See, we are finding the threshold value based on the regions of the pixels having gray level. Suppose gray level is not present, we are taking the background as one separate area, right. Next is multi-thresholding. So, the one point that we have given is the resulting image is no longer binary. So, the thresholding value that we are choosing is in such a way that the resulting image will not have any binary value. So, all will be converted into a partitioned images, right. Semi-thresholding aims to mask out the image background leaving gray level information present in the objects. Semi-thresholding is nothing but meaning is it is going to leave the image background leaving gray level information is present in the objects, right. It means that background is completely hidden, okay, only the gray level informations will be highly visible on the screen. That okay, in band thresholding we were segmenting the image into regions of pixels based on threshold value, okay, on gray levels. Suppose if it is not present, we are taking the background as a threshold. In multi-thresholding, all the images will not contain any binary values, okay, all will be having only a complete image. And semi-thresholding, what we are doing is we are making the image background. Okay, I am asking something, but we are hiding the background of the image as non-visible region, and the gray level information is being taken as a highly visible one, friends. Thresholding can also be applied to gradient. Okay, so we can apply this for generating gradient images, local texture images, and then any other decomposition criteria. Okay, we can also use this thresholding for finding gradient descent images, local texture or any other decomposition criteria, right. So, some of the thresholding detection methods we are going to discuss it. So, some of the thresholding modifications, that is what are the different types of modifications that we can do when fixing the threshold value. So, that we are going to discuss it. Some property of an image after segmentation is known a priori. The task of threshold selection is simplified. Since the threshold is chosen to ensure this property is satisfied. Okay, meaning is image after segmentation, that is if we know that after segmentation this is the only image that we are going to get, we can easily find the threshold value in a very simple manner. So, this type of selection is very important so that our thresholding property is satisfied or segmentation property is satisfied. So, what are the different types of thresholding modifications that we can do in prior if we know what will be the result after image segmentation. First technique that we are going to discuss is p-tile thresholding. Choose a threshold t based on the image histogram, okay, such that 1 by p of the image area has gray levels less than t and the rest has the gray values larger than t. So, this is a simple formula, friends, right. Tile is nothing but, see, like this the image will be in different frequencies, okay. So, this is an image that represents tiles, right. You know the meaning of tiles, right. We are going to select the threshold value t in such a way that 1 by p, okay. So, 1 by p of the image area, that is whole image area is called as p, okay. One, that is a portion of p area we are taking it as gray values, that is less than t, and the rest of the areas are we are considering it as gray values which are larger than t. So, lesser than t are the regions of 1 by p and larger than t areas are the regions which is not coming under the area of 1 by p. So, this is called p-tile thresholding. Next is based on histogram shape analysis. See, this is called histograms, friends. See the diagram. Intensity is nothing but what is the level of size that is being present in each image. Histogram is nothing but, so this tells you the lines through which the images are being divided into different set of frequencies. So, histogram is nothing but we are going to fix certain values for each and every frequency. So, based on that fixed values we can draw an image, friends. See, the dots is being given over here. So, based on these dots, if you see, the images can be formed easily. Okay, so thresholding is also being detected by using this histogram. So, one of this is bimodal histogram. Objects have approximately the gray level, okay, same gray level that differs from the gray level of the background. So, we are going to fix some values, as quantization values also we can tell, or sample size values also we can tell. These values will have same gray levels that differs from the gray level of the background. So, first one we are going to discuss is about bimodal histogram. It means objects have approximately the same gray level, okay, that differs from the gray level of the background. We are going to compute the histogram values in such a way that we have same gray level conditions and another set of gray level conditions. So, those objects which are having the same gray level are placed in one area, and those gray levels which are not having the same values are placed in another one area, which is being termed as a background or the foreground. Okay. So, these two types of classification which we do based on the histogram value is called as bimodal histogram, friends. So, these segmentation aims for minimum segmentation error requirements. It makes intuitive sense to determine the threshold as a gray level that has a minimum histogram value between the two maxima. That is, we are selecting two types of areas, right. So, the minimum segmentation level that we choose is for a gray level, and another one is used for the determination of the another set of the background. Okay. So, next is multimodal histogram. So, more the thresholds may be determined at minima between any two maxima. That is, we are going to fix or determine more number of threshold values based on these two foreground and background. So, maxima is nothing but two maximas, nothing but one is for foreground and another one is for background images, friends, right. So, in bimodal we take only one threshold value, and in multimodal we take multiple types of threshold value computations, that is histogram value computation, and based on that we are segregating. Next is more complex methods of threshold reduction. Okay, apart from bimodal, multimodal, there are many types of models that we are going to discuss now. To decide if a histogram is bimodal or multimodal may not be so simple in reality. It is often impossible to interpret the significance of local histogram maxima. That is, we cannot able to determine which type of model can be applied, okay, in order to segregate the images. So, we must have to discuss about other different types of histogram maximum values which can be used for choosing the exact threshold value. So, some of the bimodal histogram threshold detection algorithms are being given. See, here we discussed about bimodal and multimodal, right. So, under bimodal process, okay, there are different types of algorithms that we are going to use. So, one is mode method. So, in mode method, we are going to use in finding the highest local maxima first and detect the threshold as a minimum between them. We are going to find the highest local maximum values, that is highest maximum values that is going to produce the brightness. First we are going to determine. Based on that, we are going to find the threshold value and we are going to find the minimum value that is being present between the maximum and then the threshold detection. So, this process will not guarantee that we are selecting or using the correct threshold segmentation. So, for that we are going for optimal thresholding. Here we are selecting the threshold value based on histogram values that we calculated. There are certain formulas for histogram that we are using it for calculating the threshold values. So, we are finding the histogram, right, based on the weighted sum of many probable densities using normal distribution, right. We are implementing normal distribution techniques. Based on that, we are finding the histogram values. The threshold value is set as the closest gray level, okay, corresponding to the minimum probability. So, from the normal distribution, we are going to select the threshold value which is having the closest gray level value, that is minimum probability value between the maximum of 2 or more normal distribution. We are going to select the threshold value which is equivalent to that of gray level. See, the main need of thresholding is we are dividing it into brightness and dullness. So, for that I need a threshold value. In optimal thresholding, we are using a method called as normal distribution. Under normal distribution, okay, we will be having different types of data points. We are selecting the threshold value in such a way that that threshold value is nearer to that of the pixel values which exposes gray level images. Okay, so that is going to determine gray level images. Others are all placed as a separate image, right. So, if we do like this, it is going to produce minimum error. For that, we use optimal thresholding. Okay, so next type of method is multispectral thresholding. This is used or called as color images. Okay, so one segmentation approach determines thresholds independently in each spectral band and combines them into a single segmented image. So, see, these are all the different types of image. Okay, so one segment approach, that is one segmentation produces one threshold, another segmentation produces another threshold. Like this, we have two images and we are taking that threshold value and based on that we are combining it as a single segmented image. Okay, so that is called multispectral thresholding, or we also call it as color images, right. In multispectral thresholding, we can also use another method called as hierarchical thresholding. That is how we are implementing this multispectral thresholding is hierarchical thresholding. In hierarchical thresholding, so this we discussed, right, in image compression. So, we are using pyramid based approaches where these areas are formed as a tree structure, black, white and grey. So, those images which are going to fall under grey are placed in one area, those images which are going to fall under white are going to be placed in another area, okay, and another black. So, black is placed in another area. So, this is a hierarchical thresholding method. So, next you see B is called as a pyramid structure. Okay, so pyramid structure shows multiple amounts of grey levels placed in one section and black images placed in another one section, right. So we can do this by implementing hierarchical thresholding value or pyramid based structure. So pyramid is nothing but a tree composition of the images, and hierarchical nothing but successive composition of images are being placed.